For years now, I have warned anyone listening that if there's one thing you should have a plan for, it should be a lights out situation. It seems the United States has gone along all this time not caring much about its infrastructure. I find it very curious that all of a sudden Donald Trump has just signed into motion an executive order on the national resilience to an electromagnetic pulse or an EMP. For years we've talked about they're doing nothing. The infrastructure is depleted. It's just falling apart. If we get hit with one, this country is going to be crippled. It would take months, if not years, to get the components brought into this country to fix it. Now, he lays this thing out where he goes through each sector. And I also want folks to know that they talk about some tests. What are those tests going to be? Because during these tests, they have to report back to the president within certain time frames the results of those tests and also the critical infrastructure in this country. And he goes on, and it would take me probably 15 minutes to go through this whole thing, so I'm just going to skim through it. I mean, he touches on the Secretary of Defense, what the Secretary of Interior should do, the Secretary of Commerce, the Secretary of Energy, the Secretary of Homeland Security. They go through every single one of them's responsibilities and their coordination. The Director of National Intelligence, all of them are mentioned in this, unlike a lot of the other executive orders that I've read off before. Then he goes through a list of time frames, 90 days, in which Homeland Security has that time frame to respond for different things here. 180 days for the identification described in subsection A2, and that's for the Department of Homeland Security. Within 180 days, they have to identify gaps in existing test data. And that's the Department of Homeland Security. Within 1 year of the order, the Secretary of Energy has to report back to him. Within 4 years of the date of this order, the Secretary of Interior shall complete a magnetotelluric survey of the contiguous United States to help with the critical infrastructure and to know who the owners and operators are of all these different places, even in private sector, and to try to safeguard against EMP vulnerability. They go into extreme detail. I want to remind everybody out there that I went up to Fond du Lac this past year to try to take part in an EMP type of drill. It was advertised as being for the public, so the public could prepare. When I drove up there and I got there, I find out otherwise. I find out that they were doing it behind closed doors. They didn't want the public to even really know what was going on whatsoever. They ran me out of there, and when I got home, I had agents coming to my door. All the things I've done, all the places I've been, all the protests I've chased, all the everything that I've done out there, I come home from that and I have agents at my door? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, there's something in the works for this country in terms of the lights going out. I've said it for years. If this executive order don't wake you up, I don't know what will. So, the writing's on the wall. I can sit here and say it till I'm blue in the face, but if people do not heed the signs and do not get a plan together, it's your own loss. We're going to be talking about this at this knowledge conference. Can't wait to see some of you at this event. And for anyone else that wants to discuss things of this nature, hit me up, dabu7yahoo.com. You can always follow me on Twitter for more. I'll leave a link below for this executive order, so you guys can read into it here, detail for detail. And also make sure to join us for Underground World News Live, Friday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern on Dabu77. Much love, y'all.